The views and opinions expressed on this show are 100% entertainment. Don't take any of this to the bank. It will say insufficient funds.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Brad, and with me, as always, is Jamie, and this is Loose Cannons 44, Episode 5. Jamie, how you doing, my friend?
I'm freezing, man. I am so cold.
Dude, every week, you're cold.
Well, it's always like 50 freaking degrees, man.
You don't wear enough clothes to record.
I got 3 layers today.
How many pair of pants you got on?
One.
I got 3 pair of socks on, 2 pair of pants. I even have hand warmers shoved in my shoes.
What would you do if you were in Alaska, dude? Michigan.
I guess I'd wear more clothes than I currently have on.
You know what they call people who live on the northern part of Michigan?
Cold.
Youpers.
Youpers.
Upper Peninsula. For some reason, that translates to Youpers.
The funniest one is in Maine, like the Downeasterners.
They're still pretty northeast.
Yeah, but
They call it
from a guy
east.
from the southeast, when you say down east, I'm thinking
Jacksonville, Florida?
yeah.
That's down east, dude.
I mean, at most, Valdosta, Savannah would be down east, I guess. But
So-
not Maine. Nowhere in Maine
You
should
should
be
go to
down
Maine.
east. I want to go to Maine.
Dude, and be impressed.
I started watching another game warden show over the weekend, though.
The Wyoming game warden?
Northwest Law.
Well, I haven't seen Northwest Law.
Northwest Law is out of Washington. It's pretty good,
Do
actually.
they got the same kind of animals over there? Except more relaxed?
They have more heroin.
It's like...
I had never seen a heroin bust on the game warden show until they pulled over this teenage kid, 19 years oldish, and he had all these needles in his pocket, right? So the game warden
Did he
pulls
ask
this,
him he has got
she
diabetes?
pulls this handful of needles out. She's like, oh God, because she could have easily stuck herself.
Yeah.
You know? And then they're like, she calls in a sheriff's deputy. He comes out to help arrest this guy because she found no drugs on him, just a lot of paraphernalia. So the sheriff shows up, come find out this boy had a warrant out for his arrest for questioning on a stolen gun from his daddy's house. And they arrest this guy, and they're getting ready to lock him.
He stole a gun from his daddy?
Yeah.
That's just dumb.
They're getting ready to put this kid in the car, and the officer's like, he asked the warden, he goes, what are we going to do with all these needles? She goes, I wish I had a sharps container, but I don't. And the kid goes, oh yeah, I keep one in the trunk. He said, I figured it's better to keep a sharps container for all my used needles than throwing them in the forest.
Oh, well, at least he's
And
environmental.
And the sheriff's deputy's like,
Thank
dude,
you.
you're awesome. Thank you. I'm like, he's not awesome. For one, he shouldn't be doing heroin. 2, no, it's not. There's no awesomeness about it. Like, I guess he's an environmentally friendly heroin addict, but I think that's probably the normal.
Do you know,
in the Seattle area.
I'm so sheltered. I don't think I've ever seen heroin. I've seen what I would think are heroin users.
Yeah, in Atlanta.
Or L.A.
Downtown, yeah.
Florida.
Yeah, we saw what we would assume would be a heroin user pull a Pringles can out of somewhere he shouldn't have had a Pringles can in L.A. So
I was riding along with a fellow employee. We'll just call him by his first name, Lance. We're in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And there's a lady leaning over, bent over the curb in Atlanta. And we realized as we passed her, she was peeing.
Oh.
Peeing into the road.
Well, at least she didn't get it on the sidewalk. See,
I had to turn on the windshield wipers to knock it down.
Just like the environmentally friendly heroin addict in Washington State, you had her being considerate, not peeing on the sidewalk. She didn't want anybody to step in her pee-pee.
I washed the car because I was thinking urine being mainly acid would be corrosive.
Nah.
You don't think so?
So this weekend we got Super Bowl coming up. The average price for a ticket for the Super Bowl this year is $12,240. That's up 38% from last year's tickets.
Wow, that's a lot of money, Brad. I think I would
It's
just
like an F1 race.
So I would go to the store and buy some nachos and Mexican cheese, and it cost me what, $10?
It's that
or is it
team
on
versus
Peacock and I
it's
got
that
paid
team
for it?
versus the other team. I don't care who wins. Go Bills. That's kind of where I'm at on it.
Who is playing?
So
Kansas City and
you
San
got
Francisco,
the
right?
Venezuela Chiefs versus the Malaysia 49ers.
That's because they don't limit immigration.
Yeah.
Do you think they had to show their passports to cross over?
No.
You don't think so?
Nah. I don't even think you had to show your passports to become to play in the Super Bowl.
Hey, Mexican NASCAR, how many of those guys asked to stay after the race?
Do you think they drove those cars across at the checkpoints, or if they drove them through the fence?
They had cocaine in those cars.
I could see some guy
You know
holding the
it.
fence up while they're driving all these Mexico Series cars through. I got it. Coming over, boss. No, I mean, so Chiefs, it's Kansas City Chiefs versus the 49ers this week in the Super Bowl. I'm going with the Chiefs. I think the Taylor Swift's going to win it for them.
I think she is too.
I don't see the NFL allowing anybody to win except for Taylor Swift and the Chiefs. Look, if they've already made $331 million off Taylor Swift and Travis's relationship, them winning the Super Bowl, you could probably add another $100 million to it.
I think the Chiefs could have a platinum album if they win the Super Bowl.
Oh,
That Taylor can produce.
They're going to win a Grammy. If the Chiefs win a Super Bowl, they're going to win a Grammy next year.
Now, what was the conspiracy you were talking about before we were recording?
Oh, that the only reason Taylor Swift won all those Grammys was to increase her popularity. So when she supports Joe Biden in the next election, he has more voters.
Oh no, that's a reality. I'm talking about the actual conspiracy that she's going to claim she's going to release a breakup song before she and Kelsey breaks up.
Yeah, I think she announced last night during the Grammys that she has a new album coming out in April, and I think there's a song on there about her and Kelsey's breakup, and it's just we don't know about it yet. She's going to break up with him the week before the album drops and say he broke her heart. And then the new song is going to come out the next week, and she's going to say, I had to go in and remaster the whole album to add this song after my heartful breakup.
It'll be called the KC Heartbreak.
Yeah. Well, that's
Where is she originally from? Is she a California girl?
Alabama or something. I don't know. I have no idea. I know less about Taylor Swift than just about any other musician.
I think she's
I know more about K-pop music than I do Taylor Swift.
I think she's a fantastic businesswoman.
Oh, she's brilliant. Obviously, she's a billionaire 10 times over.
Did you like when she had that contract with the first record company and they screwed her over in the contract, so she just re-recorded?
Oh, yeah.
Genius. She just thumbed her nose back at them.
All right, well, this ain't the Taylor Swift show.
Are you sure? Do you know any songs that she sings?
I don't. That's the
I don't either.
I've never actually listened to Taylor Swift because I don't like that genre of music. It's just not my thing. They're
catchy because my wife will point out when we're at the store, they'll be playing
while you're singing it.
And I'll be, hey, that's a catchy tune. She goes, that's Taylor Swift. Yeah, I still don't know what song she does.
You're Swifty. We already know that about you.
I love Taylor Swift.
There's no hiding your Swiftiness.
In a plutonic way. I'm a fan.
Well, speaking of fans.
Uh-oh.
Let's jump into some Florida man behavior in the news. How about that?
Oh, no. Really?
A 41-year-old Colorado woman was given a ticket for harassment after pushing the mascot for the mattress outlet to the ground. Nothing grabs your attention when driving down the road like a big inflatable mascot dancing on the sidewalk. Unfortunately, it also attracts drunk women who have a love-hate relationship with mattress mascots. The employee was wearing an inflatable mattress costume, you know, the kind that has the little fan in it.
Yeah, like the dragon ones for the weirdos.
Yeah. He had been standing out front for the store for approximately 2 minutes when he was attacked. 2 minutes! It took 2 minutes for this drunk lady to attack him. I bet Karen came just flying out of her Volkswagen and just tackled him. Or her Tesla. I think Karen drives a Tesla.
You think so?
Yeah. According to the store manager, the mascot went outside and there was a drunk lady that basically started attacking him and trying to tip him over and hitting him and stuff. He also said the attacker was drunk out of her mind. She was trying to kick him over and get him on the ground. So apparently when this lady saw the mascot, her first inclination was to kind of harass him verbally, like just joking around with him. Just, oh, you're so cute, kind of like that. Well, I guess he didn't respond in the way she wanted. So Karen attacked him.
She must have some psychological issues with mattresses. Bad things that happen to her on mattresses.
Oh, something. So the employee fled into the store, and he and other employees had to hold the door shut as the crazed drunk woman tried to beat her way into the store.
Wow.
The manager called the police, and the woman was arrested or apprehended a few blocks away, where she was given a ticket.
On foot or on a car?
She was on foot.
Oh, so they couldn't really give her a DUI?
Correct.
That's sad.
So they caught her a few blocks away. She was given a ticket and sent home to sleep it off. Now, this was in Colorado, so I think you should have at least arrested her and let her sleep her drunkenness off.
Maybe she got a cheap Spirit flight from Miami over to Colorado.
Maybe. This sounds like some Floridian
$19
behaviors.
one-way ticket.
I've seen these mascots like at mattress stores. You see them everywhere. Tax offices have their own mascots now. I've never driven by or walked by a mascot and gotten so belligerently mad that I felt like I needed to attack it. That's never happened to me.
There's so many of them. And sign flipping guys, too. They're just part of the...
It's part of the landscape.
Scenery, yeah.
It doesn't even faze me.
Wow.
But Karen...
Karen had a bad experience.
41-year-old Karen, she done tipping them back. Probably smoked a few doobs. Drank a few beers. When I doubt she'd smoke pot. Anybody smoking pot, you're not going to attack.
That would have been chill.
Yeah, she might. Then the story would read, Mascot was hugged to death by high lady who wanted to take a nap on him. Well, maybe that's why. So it says she kept trying to knock him down. Maybe she wanted to lay on him. Test the mattress out before she bought it.
That could be. I mean...
She's so drunk, she didn't realize it was a mascot. She might have thought it was an actual mattress.
Maybe she needs to lay off the booze. I mean, weed is legal there. Go more weed than booze.
Yeah.
I mean, back in my college days, I never saw anyone fight
on weed.
No. The worst argument I've seen is, dude, you ate all my Doritos. You're going to have to replace those, man.
Yeah, and you don't even get mad enough to fight. You don't even care. Like, you don't see domestic dispute violence over marijuana. Like, husband got high tonight, and well, he fell
Maybe
asleep.
she needs a partner. She needs a partner. She can go on a Tinder. Is Tinder even?
She needs a partner.
What's the latest Tinder? A youngster told me Tinder was old school.
Oh, I'm not a youngster, so
we work with this youngster.
Oh, okay. Well,
what are you telling me? Cuddles is the new one or something like that?
Cuddles.
Maybe Cuddles doesn't exist. Yeah. Maybe we should start Cuddles. Let's profit. I mean, think about it, dude. Back in the day, we had to go out, right? We went outside.
Correct.
Our parents limited us on our PlayStation 1. Go out and play.
No, it was a Nintendo. What was the next one? Nintendo 64? No. Super Nintendo. Dude, that was my favorite. Mario on Super Nintendo was phenomenal. By far my most favorite game.
We weren't allowed to play with our video games till the sun went down.
Yeah, it was come on.
But we were latchkey kids. It's not like our parents were there. We just listened to them.
Correct. We knew better.
Well,
that's because our parents would whip us.
Yeah, we get our ass beat.
We knew better than not to listen.
You want a belt, boy? I once told my dad I did.
No, that was
because I said that it was
the dumbest move you made all day that day.
I needed another belt.
You got whipped.
I got a belt.
Yeah, you got beat.
Oh,
you got beat, son. All right, a Florida man. We're going to Florida next.
Oh, Florida people were
Florida. We never leave Florida out. So I go on Google and I just type in random search terms, and that's where these stories come from, right? From the news. So Florida always pops up. A Florida man was arrested after he molested a manatee statue and then tossed gator nuggets throughout a restaurant before he went on an explicit-filled tirade. A Florida man was arrested on a charge of disorderly intoxication. According to the authorities, the incident began when deputies received a call from Rick's Reef Bar about an intoxicated person causing a disturbance. And I'm going to be honest, I thought it said Rick's Beef Bar when I first put this story in the notes. And I wanted to kind of joke around with you about the beef bar, but it says Reef Bar, so that's not as funny.
Nah. But, you know, I might have run into this guy over the weekend.
You might have.
I was sitting on a bench, and this dude just sits next to me, and started asking me random things, and one of his random things was just like this.
Yeah, he asked you if you like to eat manatee.
Yeah. Hey, let
buddy.
me ask you a question.
Hey, buddy.
That's what he said. Hey, buddy, can I ask you a question? And I said, sure. What is it? You ever eaten manatee meat? And I said, I think you go to jail just touching a manatee, so no.
This guy went to jail for molesting a manatee statue.
Probably. Well,
so if you can't molest a manatee statue, they're definitely not going to let you eat a manatee.
I asked the guy, I said, why? Have you ever eaten manatee meat? And he said, I probably shouldn't answer that question after what you told me.
What an idiot.
South Georgia, buddy.
South Georgia. Yeah, you find all kind of special kinds down there.
There's no hills, so I don't know if I can call him a hillbilly.
I don't even know what you call that.
Flatland Billy?
Flat Billy?
Peanut Billy?
Reportedly, the man became upset when he was told he had already paid his bill and it was time for him to leave the restaurant. Once the man got outside, he began to molest a plastic manatee that was in the restaurant's parking lot. When restaurant staff asked him to stop touching the manatee inappropriately, the man then returned to the dining room and started throwing gator nuggets at staff and restaurant guests while explicitly cussing them out. Police showed up and arrested him.
Well, they probably should have. I mean, you should not be.
You ever been mad enough to
molest a plastic statue?
Molest a plastic manatee and throw gator nuggets?
I have in my younger days. A buddy of mine would pretend to gyrate on statues.
Apparently, that's
like
illegal.
He was.
You can't inappropriately touch a statue because that statue has rights and limits. And when you start touching that statue's no-no zones, you're in trouble. Because you, at that point, violated the rights that plastic manatee statue had.
All I can say is this guy, I won't name his name because he's still alive.
It's in the Lego Constitution.
Well, he was gyrating sexual acts
on
statues in Washington, D.C. And finally some tourists were walking by and we're like, dude, you got to stop. That's wrong. And he ended up joining the Marines.
Good for him.
I don't know what he was doing over in Iraq with statues.
Gyrating.
I no longer communicate with that feller.
That's probably a good thing. All right, next place we're going, Jamie, is the great state of Alabama.
There seems to be a great migration to Alabama.
Yeah, there does.
For Bible thumping crazies.
So, an Alabama off-duty county sheriff deputy is arrested on grand theft auto charges in Pensacola, Florida, after he stole a UTV owned by the city and took it for a joyride.
I think you need to do that in your own jurisdiction so you don't go to jail.
Yeah, you don't leave Alabama, drive over to Pensacola, get drunk, and steal a vehicle. Police say they believe the joyride started after an apparent night of drinking in downtown Pensacola. The Alabama off-duty officer said after a long night of drinking, he and his two friends were heading to their trucks when they saw a UTV parked in the parking deck and decided it would be a good idea to take it for a ride. So, what we have here is three individuals. And definitely you have an off-duty police officer admitting he was drunk, out of his mind, and heading to his truck to drive home. But on the way to his truck to drive home, which is illegal, I believe in Florida too, DUIs.
I'm not sure.
I'm going to go with it probably is illegal in the Panhandle to drive drunk.
When I was there as a college student at spring break, we didn't drive anywhere.
It was illegal, though. Well, this guy is an off-duty cop. He thought the law didn't apply to him.
UTV is still a motorized vehicle, so he's done.
Yeah. So they jumped in this UTV and took off. A few blocks later, the off-duty officer and his friends were stopped by the police. After police confirmed it was stolen from the city, the three men were arrested and taken to jail. The men were released a few hours later on bond. The off-duty officer is still on paid leave currently until they go to court later this year. If convicted, the men face up to 5 years in jail for grand theft auto.
Paid leave?
He is on paid leave.
I guess that's acceptable in his county.
Dude got drunk in December before Christmas and has been on vacation since. You could be out looking for another job right now while you're still collecting your state, which probably ain't
Brad,
much.
you lived in Alabama. Is that considered Alabama justice? Paid leave?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because the dude's daddy's probably the sheriff, and his granddaddy is probably the mayor.
Probably.
Dude thinks this is a perfect example of a guy thinking he's above the law because he's got a little bit of power down there in middle of nowhere, Alabama, heading over to Pensacola, Florida.
He's probably from that town of Carnage. Alabama.
No, actually, I looked up the town he was from, but I don't remember it now. It was a very, very small town over near Mobile.
Dinky Winky?
Something like that.
Dinky Winky town?
Something like that. It was over near Mobile, and he drove over to Pensacola, him and his buddies, just trying to have a good time, getting drunk, stealing crap. They thought it was acceptable because he's an officer of the law and they're above it. So,
think maybe this might be the cause of some of the backlash people have with police?
Double standard. I mean, politicians, police officers, they have a whole other set of laws that we don't have to, we're not allowed to use. We're held to a different standard. People with authority are allowed to break laws that we're not allowed to break because they're authority figures.
See, I got a beef with local police. Barnesville police, they pull me over constantly. And, dude, when you start bringing up constitutional rights and he's lying to you, and they tell you they're not lying to you, and you say, hey, Supreme Court has said that it's legal for you to lie to me. Why would I trust you? I always get a warning. So they get very offended.
They're getting offended
when I tell them they're a liar and they're not looking out for me.
Well, that's not their job. They're pulling you over trying to make $1.
Because they're like, when you change lanes, you didn't have your signal on. And I'm like, I didn't change lanes.
I saw a video on Instagram of a Georgia State Patrol officer. I wish I knew who this patrol officer was so I could send him a thank you card. He was driving down the left lane, pulling over people in the left lane for driving too slow.
Well, that should happen.
When you're in the passing lane, not passing, and everybody's passing you in the right lane, and he gets pulled over and gets a ticket, I'm like, thank God. This cop just did what he's getting paid to do. You're doing your job. Thanks, man. Keep it up.
Yep.
Instead of trying to pull over normal people who are driving 5 over, how about pulling over these normal people who are driving 10 under? If you're driving that much under the speed limit, you're doing something illegal.
You're a road hazard.
You got dead bodies in the trunk. You got drugs in your pocket. You've done something illegal or doing something illegal or have a warrant out for your arrest. If you can't drive the speed limit, you deserve to be pulled over and taken to jail. Period.
They probably should make him have his car inspected to see why he can't keep up with the flow of traffic.
If you don't use a blinker, you should be pulled over and sent straight to jail. If you cross 5 lanes of traffic to exit, you should be pulled over and sent straight to jail.
Hey, I saw a current president.
Speeding is okay.
He got lost in South Carolina.
Again?
On the stage.
Oh, that happened.
And I think he was turned on his turn signal. The imaginary one.
No.
Yeah.
He was looking for his hand cane. That's all.
He just stood there going.
That's because he's a robot, dude, and he's just short-circuited.
All right. Frankenbiden.
All right, before we get into politics, let's wrap this Florida man behavior up.
That's not politics.
With another Florida man story.
Let's do that.
A Florida man is bitten by an alligator after he is seen on video poking and bugging an alligator that was sitting on the side of the road. So this dude is driving down the road, sees an alligator on the side of the road, jumps out of his car, starts videotaping himself playing with an alligator. A Florida man was bitten by an alligator that was sitting on the side of the road after he decided to pull over, get out, and start poking and harassing the alligator on the side of the road. The man, while high on meth, started taunting the gator. The man put his arm right in the gator's mouth at one point. Luckily for him, the gator didn't bite him. The gator was surely wondering how stupid this man can be. Could you imagine what's going through that alligator's little bitty mind at the time? Like,
even a pea brain's going to go.
Is this idiot really sticking his hand in my mouth?
Is there methamphetamines in the water? Am I seeing this? This human being's a jackass.
Well, not long after the man decided that he wanted to pick on this gator, the gator decided that he had had enough of the meth head's antics and decided to attack. The gator can be seen on video latching onto the man's leg and private area while thrashing about. The man was taken to the hospital in severe pain. Apparently, meth does not numb the pain from a gator bite. When you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
So, the previous Florida guy was throwing gator
nuggets
around.
So that's probably
This alligator got some human nuggets in his mouth.
I think the Florida man here was trying to get the gator nuggets off the gator, and the gator bit his nuggets off. That's what it says. It doesn't ever really say if he lost his wiener or not from the gator bite, but I watched the video.
Being from an area where there are gators, they're slow when they want to be.
And they're fast.
But when those gators decide it's go time, they go.
You ever seen a crocodile run? It's hilarious.
On TV. I've seen an alligator run.
On TV?
No, in real life.
Yeah, I've seen alligators in real life. I've never seen a crocodile in real life, but I mean on TV. Them crocodiles are fast. The caimans are fast too.
When they go after those Malibus.
I wouldn't want to mess with any of
them. Have you seen where they cross the river, all those Malibus?
No. How you get all them Chevys across the river?
Oh, no, that's the Chevy's named after.
Chevy Malibu.
It's named after an animal.
Oh, that was named after a city in California.
Maybe it's a different car I'm talking about.
Isn't Malibu a city in California?
It is.
Okay, the Chevy Malibu.
What's it called then?
Impala.
No, is that it?
That's an animal.
Is that it? The Impala?
Are you mistaking the Impala and the Malibu?
I guess.
Caribou.
No, there's no caribou.
Car. No, I mean, are you mistaking the Malibu?
It is the Impala because it's got that deer with the antlers on the logo.
With the one antler and the long nose.
Yeah, it's the Impala.
My dad had an Impala, 96. Wasn't as cool as
Did a gator get it?
It did.
It did?
Yeah, a gator ate it.
Gators are all the way
Gatorade.
up. The Gators have made it to McDonough, Georgia, which ain't far from here.
I hate the Gators.
Do you hate the Gators? I hate the Florida Gators.
Go Dogs.
I only like Georgia Gators.
Georgia Gators?
You got Gators
in Macon?
We do.
Never seen
We got them in Versailles.
Can we go see them?
Oh, Denny. You know Denny.
Yeah, Uncle Denny.
Uncle Denny's got a gator in the pond next to his house. It's like a 10-footer.
In his aquarium?
No, it's...
So they don't swim in the pond?
Actually, he calls animal control, and they can't ever find it, but he claims he sees it at night. Maybe he's drinking too much.
Yeah, they say the same thing about old Nessie. Loch Ness. Only comes out at night when you're drinking.
They have found footprints, though.
Of
the gator. And they can see where he belly slides in the mud into the pond. They just can't seem to catch the gator.
All right, Jamie. What's your political rant about this week, sir?
Wait.
Race Car Spelled Backwards is a show for anyone who needs a good laugh. Join Jamie and Brad each week as they talk sports, racing, NASCAR, and just about any other thing. Race Car Spelled Backwards can be found on YouTube or any other major podcast platform.
Well, it's really going to be about term limits because I'm getting real sick of watching Donald T. and Joe B. losing their train of thought.
We're not
calling the name people.
We're not going to have term limits. You do realize that, right?
Well, the U.S. Supreme Court in term limits versus Thornton, they said in a 5-4 split that citizens are not allowed to limit their own members of Congress using state laws because 26 states or 23 states had decided that they were tired of the federal government and Congress.
Yeah.
So they passed state laws limiting it. So the Supreme Court kicked it down, but in their decision, there was a silver lining. State imposition of term limits for congressional service would affect such fundamental change in the constitutional framework. It must come through a constitutional amendment properly passed under the procedures set forth in Article 4. So there's just two ways to do that. Congress either does it, 2/3 of both the House of Congress and the Senate, or 2/3 of the state legislators. That's 34 states. So states can do it by having a constitutional convention.
So the states could add term limits to the Senate
and Congress. Our states could get together and say, we're so tired of this crap.
Not our state senates.
Oh, no, it would be through our legislator, our state legislators.
So our federal senators
and Congress
people
can be legislated through a constitutional convention through the state legislators. It needs 34 states to pass it.
Why don't the states do it?
Well, we're still kind of depending on politicians to do that, aren't we?
But these politicians, are they affected by these term limits? I thought they already had term limits
Well,
on
don't
them.
you? My feeling is that they're always wanting to make that next step up so they can get their fingers into the federal treasury instead of the state treasury.
Big money.
Yeah, you're kind of like minor league.
Going from millions to billions.
So, I mean, I see that as a problem.
Well, I mean, what? Nancy Pelosi's making like, what, $900 million a day or something?
She's the world's best investor, beats Warren Buffett every year.
Every year.
She
is brilliant. She knows what the market's going to do before the market knows what the market's going to do.
But, you know, this thievery
than AI.
isn't regulated to just one party. We have Republicans that are very good in the stock market, too, better than Warren Buffett.
There's not a politician on this planet that cares about the constituents that they serve. I'm sorry to say, I think the government has failed. It has fallen.
Based on, I mean, let's get for real.
I am for real.
The vaccination for COVID
correct
was under Donald Trump, passed by Congress and the House. I think our representatives only represent drug companies now. And their lobbyists funnel money to them.
More than ever.
And the arms manufacturers. I have a feeling that Israeli money we give them, Ukrainian money, and, you know, we support all kinds of defenses for all kinds of other countries, trickle back down to our elected officials in the federal government.
The great late Robin Williams once said that politicians should have to wear their corporate sponsors on a jacket, just like NASCAR does with their sponsors.
They should.
I agree with that more than ever right now. We need to know. Like, I want to see how many politicians have the Pfizer patch on the front of their flipping
I think
uniforms.
we'd be shocked that it doesn't matter what party you're in, they'll have the Pfizer patch.
I wouldn't be shocked because I know they are. They're all in the back pockets of these ultra-wealthy companies. Bill Gates runs this country. I honestly, truly, with my whole heart believe.
I think he's one of a few.
Yes. I think he's one of the probably 5 to 10 people who make the decisions for the world.
Look,
not just the country.
The financial division in the future is going to be the billionaires will have these mansions and they won't have to leave. It'll be like DoorDash people will be the only people with contact. Well, actually, they'll just get on their Ring camera and go, just leave it at the door.
Leave it at the door. Put it through the
Leave it at the door.
Put it through the slot. They'll have a DoorDash slot.
They'll have a gated.
Some of those rich people have a little open thing you open, and it's a conditioned box like a Yeti. It looks like a Yeti cooler on the inside, and they put the food in there, shut it, so they can open it from their side and never have to make any kind of human contact whatsoever.
I've been in a gated community that also the houses themselves had gates. That's the kind of thing that we're headed towards.
That's where our politicians live at.
Yeah, and our billionaires.
I agree. All right,
so does that make them the little bitches for the billionaires?
Yes.
They're billionaire bitches?
Correct.
Okay.
That's who DoorDash will be from now on.
Well, that's my rant. Let's change the Constitution and get rid of these turds.
Remember when Disney sued Ron DeSantis?
Yeah, they're idiots.
Or
was it Ron suing Disney? I know there was some kind of clash going on. Some Florida civil war between Disney and DeSantis.
So let's jump into the weekly headlines. Disney filed an appeal after a federal judge dismissed its lawsuit against DeSantis. The judge said the entertainment giant lacked the standing to bring the suit. A federal judge dismissed the company's lawsuit against Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and the board members he appointed to manage a planning district Disney once operated in the state. Now remember, the former CEO of Disney, came out against the Don't Say Gay bill, I believe is what they were calling it. They came out against that, which it never even said it never even said that in the bill. So
if I say gay,
that's the name it took on.
If I say gay, did I break the law?
Disney went against. Remember, Ron DeSantis said we couldn't teach gender-affirming studies in kindergarten and preschool, and Disney's like, no, that's exactly when we need to be teaching them. So the CEO spoke out against it. Then, in a retaliation that they said was not a retaliation, the Florida lawmakers dismantled Disney's improvement district, the planning area it had maintained control over since the late 60s. That control allowed the company to make building and infrastructure changes in and around the Walt Disney World Resort. Honestly, I think they got a lot of tax breaks from it as well. So,
they were their own government, basically.
Pretty much. So DeSantis is like, you know what? Y'all want to get involved in politics? Let's get involved in politics. This basically is when Disney became a political bargaining chip for both sides. You have the Republicans are anti-Disney. You have the liberals who are pro-Disney. Personally, I think Disney should be cartoons and kids shows and shouldn't have nothing to do with gender-affirming studies or any of these other political gender games that we're playing. I don't think any of it should be involved.
Have you noticed that our biggest
Stay
threat
out of Disney
to our democracy has become gender?
That's the only thing they talk about anymore. Gender and abortion. Dudes having abortions.
Oh, immigration. Immigration,
I don't even think
abortion, and gender.
I think both sides agree we have an immigration problem, but the only way for the Democrats to stay in reign forever is to keep importing Democrats from other countries. What's going to be funny is when all these illegal aliens go to vote and they start voting Republican. Because, dude, I'm telling you.
Once they're legit and start paying taxes and realize how much they're paying in taxes, they're going to flip.
There's loopholes that are
going to go, holy.
Everybody keeps saying there's no way they're going to allow these people to vote. Y'all are crazy.
Yeah, they are.
Y'all are crazy. There's only one reason they're letting these people into the country so freely, and that is so they can rig the election here in November. There's no other.
What's the old saying? I was liberal when I was young, then I got a job and saw my taxes and became conservative. Yeah.
So, under the last year under Trump, the last year Trump was in office, they had 498,000, I'm guessing, not completely. It was under 500,000 people crossed the border illegally. It was right there at 500,000. So that was Trump's last year in office. Since then, last year was 2.5 million. The year before that was 2.4 million.
So what was it before Trump?
1.7 million.
What was it before Trump with Obama?
It was similar to what it was with Trump. It's just since Biden has went in office, it has quadrupled.
But Biden doesn't know what he's doing.
We went from having under 1 million immigrants come into our country a year to 2.5 million last year. We've already had over 1 million this year.
Here's my concern.
The physical year started in like October for border counting.
My concern is with all this bullshit between Trump, Biden, who's doing what with the border, blah, blah, blah. The real issues aren't being taught. What about our $38 trillion in debt? How are we going to sustain this country with that kind of debt?
We're not. We're not. Look, Joe Biden's on a suicide mission. He don't care what he does.
No,
he don't care what decisions he makes because he's not going to live long enough to have to reap the repercussions from the stupid decisions he makes.
My problem is they both spent money like it was going out of style. They're addicted.
I don't care. Trump's not in office.
You're going to care when you're like
irrelevant to me at this point.
67 and a half with no Social Security you've been paying into your whole damn life because nobody decided to save money.
No, I mean, that's not when I say I don't care. I'm not going to sit here and harp on Trump because he's not in office.
Do you know
Biden's the idiot that's in office.
Do you know what the problem is?
What?
We don't enforce the laws on the books.
Well, we don't enforce them unless it's us. They enforce them against us, but not them.
I'm just saying there's laws on the books and a process. An open border is not. No party has decided an open border is the right thing to do. It's just happened through osmosis from stupidity. When you have someone running this country that can't remember if he put his socks on in the morning, we got a problem. And when we have two political parties that have decided before the primaries even started, these are our two candidates, we have a problem. We don't have a republic or democracy when we can't choose who we're voting for.
No.
Just saying.
But our vote hadn't counted ever, so it doesn't matter. Whoever's going to win the election has already been decided months before the election actually
by
happened.
Bill Gates and his 5 buddies.
That's it. I wonder if Elon's one of those buddies, or is he not rich enough yet?
Maybe we should allow.
Elon was like
Elon's number 1 now. We should let. What's that?
Number 2.
What's that lizard dude that runs Meta?
Oh yeah, I know you're talking.
Lizard boy.
What is his name?
Bezos.
No, Bezos is from Amazon.
No, they should be allowed to count the votes for us.
Oh, that is.
And Bill Gates.
They're the ones who already voted.
And George Soros.
They all vote. Yeah, the ones with
Elon and George Soros will cancel each other out.
the ones with the money.
Yep. Follow the money, dude. That's always a secret.
Lawmakers in Kentucky have filed a new bill to legalize marijuana. The bill is HB420. If passed, it will legalize and regulate cannabis for adults 21 and older.
That would be a good idea because Daniel Boone National Forest in Kentucky is the largest producer in America of marijuana. Maybe you should legalize it in your state if you're making money off of it.
Few people in Kentucky expect the proposal to actually make it through the state's Republican-controlled legislature. If legalized, a 9% tax would be imposed both on wholesale and resale purchases. Local governments could also add an additional licensing fee of up to 5% for the privilege of operating within the city limits.
Okay.
Under the bill, consumers would be able to purchase cannabis from licensed retailers starting in 2025 and no later than July 1st, 2026. The bill would also prohibit discrimination by employers against workers who legally use cannabis outside of work. Cannabis legalization has been a political bargaining chip for years, and currently the Republicans are against it regardless of what their constituents want.
Isn't this we shouldn't even be talking about this. One of Biden's political promises was to legalize it federally.
Yeah, that ain't going to happen. Biden's not going to do anything. I mean, Biden takes tiny little bitty itty bitty steps every year. Like,
he physically only takes little bitty steps too.
Exactly.
He stomps like a man that can't see.
They're not like, I don't understand why that we have such a hard time with cannabis in this country. Like, it's a plant, guys. It's a plant. We have chemicals that are legal for you to take, but you can't legally smoke a plant. You can't smoke something
We're putting
natural.
garbage into our bodies.
You can eat at McDonald's, which is way worse for you than smoking weed. It's completely legal.
Did you see that the latest update in the COVID-19 vaccines, like 3% of the population's chosen to do it?
Smoke weed?
No, take the COVID vaccination, the updated one. No one cares anymore.
Nobody's going to take this stupid shot. So I had a family
Even people who've done the first and second one 3 years ago, they're like, screw it.
I had a family member who recently had the COVID-19, and she went to the doctor, and the doctor's like, oh, you have COVID. You should take Paxlovid, the new Pfizer treatment for COVID. Since they have a Pfizer preventative for COVID that didn't work, let's try the Pfizer treatment that probably don't work. She didn't get it because of how much it cost.
How much does it cost?
$800. It's cheaper to die of COVID than to get treated for COVID. So what this particular family member I have did, she took a little bit of cough syrup and some ibuprofen, and guess what? She better.
Grandma would have told her to get some whiskey, some lemon juice, and some honey, and some cinnamon.
Drink the lemons.
And put it in hot tea and drink it.
And when you do all that, drink the whiskey.
That right there is a natural remedy too. That's illegal.
I'm sure
You'd probably go to jail if you gave it to your 6-year-old instead of NyQuil, which would probably make them spaz out, hit the floor, jiff out for 20 minutes, and you got to call 911.
Alcohol kills
and give them diabetes.
Alcohol kills more people annually than marijuana. Marijuana has officially killed the same amount of people who have died from attacks by unicorns. Alcohol, not so much.
What about vaccinations? They've killed unicorns with them.
Have they?
I'm sure.
I don't know if
the government probably has a secret place to test them.
The unicorns weren't required to get vaccinated.
Why? Because they've got rainbow colors on their head? On their horn?
They have rainbow horns.
So they got rainbow power?
Yeah. So they're not, they didn't have to be tested.
Huh.
So the Universal Music Group has pulled their music from the TikTok platform.
Is that a new band? Universal?
No. Universal Music Group, the world's largest music company representing artists including Taylor Swift, Adele, BTS, and others, has announced it will no longer license music to the TikTok platform.
Wasn't TikTok paying them a fee for that?
They were, but the two failed to reach a new terms of music licensing agreement, and after their previous contract expired, they pulled all the music off the TikTok platform. As of February 1st, the artists have now been removed from the platform. So the workaround is actual TikTokers are now remaking their favorite artist songs and posting videos of them. And some of them are actually better than the original, I will honestly say. But, I mean, BTS, you know,
It could
Adele,
be Bill Gates
Swift,
is
it's a big
controlling
deal.
this too.
Yeah, Bill Gates.
Bill
probably,
Gates is involved. Yeah.
Well, we know Bill Gates was involved with removing Taylor Swift from TikTok, most likely. So he was probably involved in the state of Oregon. The state of Oregon installed tampon dispensers in the high school boys' restrooms.
That is so messed up.
Within minutes, the boys had ripped the tampon dispensers from the wall and completely destroyed them.
You know, no boys have menstrual cramps.
In order to comply with
Blood
the Oregon
flow.
state law, Brookfield High School installed a menstrual products dispenser in a boys' restroom at 9:30 a.m. on January 24th. The school's principal reported that by 9:52 a.m., the menstrual dispenser had been vandalized and ripped from the wall. The principal said he was absolutely disgusted and dismayed by the act of vandalism.
Who in the boys' room needed a tampon's my question.
The principal encouraged any student with issues regarding the tampon dispenser to ask for more information and to use their words to start dialogue rather than their hands to destroy something.
So maybe the principal should take a security guard in the school and make him stand at the dispensary.
I think the principal needs to stick a bunch of those tampons in his mouth and shut up. That's what I think. Like, why are we putting tampons, female hygiene products, in male boy? These are boys.
They identify as boys.
These are
They
boys.
probably have the non-gender bathroom too.
These are boys with penises who go in their bathroom to pee, and they have a tampon machine. Like, put a condom machine in there. Put something they can use. Like, there's no physical way for a boy to use a tampon. I'm sorry. I don't care if you use your butcher knife or whatever you do.
I disagree,
Boys
Brad.
are boys, girls are girls. No, you can't disagree.
I disagree.
How you gonna stick a tampon to stop your bleeding, Jamie?
If
Jamie, when you have
not for
when you
blood,
have your menstrual cramps,
not for blood.
then that's what a tampon's made
If
for.
I got the Rhea
no,
and I got a math test,
no,
and I don't want to drop a Rhea in my underwear, I'll go to the boys' room,
you're
get a
not
tampon,
sticking a tampon
put a
up your butt.
tampon up my butt,
No,
so I can pass my
there's
math test.
No, if you're that stupid, you're not gonna pass your math test.
I never
If you're
passed
dumb
the
enough
math
to
test
think
anyway.
you put a tampon in your butt and it'll stop you from going poo poo, you ain't gonna pass your math test, your English test, your science test, your art test. You ain't gonna pass your physical education test.
You know what's actually going to happen?
You shouldn't even be at school. You're just
you
a
put a
certified
tampon-
idiot.
If you put a tampon up your butt
It's gonna hurt.
to stop the Rhea, you know what's going to happen during your math test?
It's gonna hurt.
It's going to go. And then you're going to crap all over your ankle.
How many times when you were in high school did you rush to the men's bathroom looking for a tampon?
To be honest with you, I've never looked for a tampon in the men's bathroom,
Me neither.
even in college or elementary school.
You ever bought tampons?
I have bought tampons for my wife.
Yeah, me too. But I've never ran in the bathroom to get one for her.
Luckily now,
Hey, hang on, honey. They keep the tampons in the men's bathroom now.
Luckily now that we have cameras on our phones, I can take a picture on the. Is this the brand you wanted?
FaceTime.
Uh-huh.
Honey, are these the tampons that you wanted? Everybody in the store looking at you. No, this is stupid. Like, let's just take stupidity to another level. Every flipping week, we go above and beyond stupid in this country. Like, boys,
You know
these
the
are-
problem is
they're children, man. Like, boys are going to be boys. If you would have put a tampon dispenser in my high school bathroom, we'd been throwing tampons down the hallway for 30 minutes until we ran out of tampons.
we should have never
We would have
turned.
ripped it off the wall, too.
Dude, we should have never turned children into a battleground for our politicians.
That's all it is. Children have become
A
political
battle,
bargaining chips.
yeah, and it's wrong.
No different than cannabis. No,
Look.
we're doing the same with kids.
We can just follow the golden rule. Let's be nice to one another.
The golden rule. Just be nice.
I mean, we got these people that don't know their gender. They don't need to be buttholes and make us put tampons in the boys' room. Let's be nice to each other.
I watched Saved by the Bell growing up.
Did they have tampons in the bathroom saved up by the bell?
Well, I was thinking, and they were in California even, and they had no tampons. They didn't have them in the boys' bathroom on Saved by the Bell. They didn't even have them at the Max. You went to the Max to get a burger, you know, with Max.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have tampons at the Max.
I was just wondering, like, you know, let's have a third bathroom for those that haven't decided.
No,
And
you don't need a third.
you can have
if
tampons
you haven't decided
and
on what your
bathrooms.
gender is, you don't need a third bathroom. You need mental help.
Dude,
You
what's
need-
going on now could cause mental help. You need mental help because,
That's what I said.
let's see, you're not mature enough to go on. You could end up going, well, I don't know.
So,
Mom, Dad, what am I?
so we got some good friends of ours we went to dinner with a few weeks ago.
Are they non?
And we were
gender?
talking to these people, and their daughters go to the local high school here.
I'm sorry.
They hate it because there are students in their class at high school who identify as a cat.
Cool.
So every time the teacher says something, these students will sit in the class, meow, meow.
Sounds like they're taking full advantage of the stupid laws enacted.
That's exactly what, like when my buddy was telling this story, I said, oh, I'd have so been the idiot sitting in the back of the classroom meowing. He goes, no, they're meowing not to be disruptive. They're meowing because they identify and can legally get away with identifying as a flipping cat at the high school. That is a disruption. There's no learning going on at high schools anymore. I'm sorry. If
It's a political battleground. That's all it is.
a cat, come on, dog. Like, I can remember when you're in like elementary school, they're like, if you could be any animal in the world, what would you be? But they didn't follow that up with, oh, you want to be a cat?
For the next year, you need to
Guess
be a
what?
cat.
We can transition you into a cat. Do you want to be a cow? How about a camel? We can transition you next week. We'll add some humps to your back and some udders to your chest. I mean,
Now, I had
we'll
a
hook
friend
it
of
up.
mine. He told me he dated a girl that put a leash on him, made him bark like a dog.
Yeah, but this ain't like kinky, fluffy stuff. Or whatever. What do they call them? Furries. This ain't the furry stuff. These people truly believe. I don't know if they truly believe it because they're teenagers in high school, and you don't truly believe anything in high school, I don't think. But it's a disruption. This is why.
You know, there's what?
This is why every generation gets dumber, because grandpa and grandpa in the White House are putting out these stupid laws that affect children meowing in classrooms. Like, y'all are idiots. Politicians, you're idiots. Period.
All of you.
All of you are idiots. I think if you're a politician, you're an idiot. Take it to the bank. I'll put a T-shirt out. All politicians are idiots. Whatever we need to do. All right, Jamie. Since we now think all politicians are idiots, how about some advice?
Buttholes. They're buttholes.
Let's give people some advice.
Is butthole is non-gender? Did you know that?
Let's do one of these advice columns because I want you to tell your story about how you almost died this weekend.
Nah, we'll avoid that one.
You're not going to share?
There could be some ramifications with my licensing
Oh, okay.
because I did not.
Well,
I did not radio Mayday.
Are you supposed to say Mayday, Mayday?
Shh.
Cool. I didn't know that.
Nothing happened.
Okay. So.
The hardest part of flying a plane is operating that radio. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Well, we're just glad you're here. So let's record.
So a listener said, "Dear Cannonball 44, I'm a grown ass man."
Okay.
Hey, he's identified as not just a man, a grown ass man, Brad.
That means he don't need a tampon dispenser.
He definitely does not need a tampon because as you read further, it says, "I have a third testicle. I've had it my whole life." Women have thought that I've had cancer, but I don't. I'm fully functional.
Does it not function if you get cancer down there?
I don't know.
Ooh, I definitely
You can
know all
ask
that.
me later. I might have it one day.
And your third testicle?
Some women find it fascinating. Others get freaked out. Sometimes I brought a woman home and they want a light on. They are using me as a circus act. They laugh and ask to take a picture. I've been looked at by doctors, and although not normal, it does happen in rare instances. And you know what? I Googled this, Brad. It does.
I've heard of a third nipple, but a third testicle, this is a first.
It happens. It's true. I'm straight, not curious. What does that mean? He's not curious of any other thing than being straight?
I'm pretty sure he's straight and he has no desire not to be.
My sex life is normal
That's
until
okay.
My sex life is normal until I pull down my pants. Well, if you've got a third bulging ball under that shaft, I can see that happening. But some of these, since you're straight, I'm going to say women, could be concerned for you. It might not just be circus act. They might go, hey, do you know you got a third ball down there? I'm sure he knows, but.
So as a Christian, you shouldn't have sex before you're married. So you shouldn't have all these women looking at your third testicle that you keep bringing home, dude.
Could just be his wife.
You might. Well, it says. He says in here.
But look.
He's brought home multiple women, and they just want the light on because he's a circus act so they can laugh at him.
Well, he says there's no real way to hide a third testicle. Any idea on what I should do? Obviously, he's having sex.
Have you ever had a woman count your balls?
Well, I mean.
Has your wife ever went 1, 2?
No, I can't
exactly.
say that.
So how is this a problem?
I have a feeling that it's taking up more space because there's a third testicle.
What? The only time this becomes an issue
it might really,
is if he's not doing his job.
What about a cup if he's playing a sport? Doesn't he need an extra large cup?
They make bigger cups.
Do they make a third ball cup? I've never asked for one.
They make bigger cups. So you just buy a full size cup. Use a butter dish.
I mean, it's just a plastic triangle with cushioning on it.
Use a butter dish and fill it with fluffy.
I mean,
stuffing. Fluffing.
I would ask dear third ball.
Dear third ball. My advice to you,
Does
sir,
it get in the way of urinating? Does he produce more urine or semen?
I think he says everything works fine. What should he do?
I'm sure. Well, he says
he's a grown ass man.
He must be from Alabama.
So if you
a grown ass man,
if you was going to do anything about it, you would have done it as a child. Like, hey mom, I got 3 nuts. Can I have one removed?
I'm just guessing. His parents changed his diaper. They knew he had a third testicle, and doctors have looked at it.
Why didn't you get it corrected as a child?
Do you get it correct? If it's fully functioning, do you hurt something by removing that third ball that works?
I mean, you only need your balls to make babies. So if you're done making babies, have it removed.
I mean, the dude went from
you could get 2 bells.
The dude went from a motorcycle to a big wheel, dude. I mean, look, dude.
If I had 3 balls, I'd be showing the world. Look at my third ball.
Third ball, I am also a grown-ass man.
I was just saying, don't worry about it, man.
Send us a pic. I would like to see it.
Well, Google it.
I'm never
sure there's enough people.
I don't want to Google it.
Well, you want to see this dude's nuts, but
I'll be on the Google algorithm, and I'll be getting all kinds of weird things.
You're already on an algorithm now.
Dude.
Look,
let me tell you about
You're on all kind of algorithms for things you say.
Dude. I don't know if you fall into this. Is totally off this. Have you ever gone into this X trap, formerly Twitter, not rated X? So I have some people that follow me, right?
Yeah. So
I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, I should be nice and follow back. They're prostitutes, dude.
See, I don't know what
I had to unfollow. I had to unfollow. I only look at our posts. That's it. And our listeners.
I will say over the last couple of weeks, I've had a ton of fake accounts follow me. And I've had to just, whatever, I don't follow them back.
I mean, they end up sending me a DM going, me am Sally, me love you long time.
It's just AI.
Would you like to meet for a date? And I'm like, dude, what have I done
Nothing.
to make these more other than follow this person because they're following me?
You've done nothing. It's just China has created an algorithm to jack up Elon's platform of X because they're working with the Democrats to screw up the election.
So that might be our next virus.
That's it.
COVID-20 is going to be our...
All right, what's the next one? Deer Cannonball 44.
Yeah, I thought on this for a long time. And then brackets F36. So I'm assuming she's a female 36. That's what she identifies as.
Yeah, she's a female who's 36 years old.
I was dating my long-term boyfriend, M40, male 40. He identifies as a male, for over 5 years. Living together for over 4. When he broke up with me over a week ago, I had felt like he was a bit distant. with me lately, but I had no idea things were as bad as they apparently were. I'm really struggling with being blindsided by all of this, seemingly overnight. My life has been turned upside down, and I can't understand why he wouldn't have said anything earlier. The entire time before this happening, everything was normal. We still did activities together, went out for dinner, walked our dog together, etc. Any tips on how to let go of this? I've been through breakups before, but this just hits differently. Blindsided at Christmas. So, what do you think? Her boyfriend's just a cheap bastard that didn't want to buy her any Christmas presents?
So she says they broke up a week ago, but he started feeling distant lately. That's because he broke up with you, honey. That's
so
why
he
he's
was
distant.
you think he was fumbling around in his head on how to do it?
Yes.
That's why he's distant?
I think it is. And he doesn't want to hang out with her now that they've broken up, which is probably normal. I think that's normal.
Well, I think, it's a feeling of rejection. You've invested these, 5 years?
So a tip on what do I think you should do? I think you should suck it up, Buttercup. Get over it. Toughen up.
Move
Tough
on?
love. It sucks. Move on. Yeah. Move on. Join Cuddles. Whatever that website you were talking about earlier.
Just for friends?
Just for friends is Cuddles. Just cuddling.
Because you're just cuddling. That's all you're doing.
Yeah. Become a furry. Heck, start meowing. Who cares? Get over it, though. That's what
she's 36, so she's out of school, so she can't meow in class. Unless she's getting her MBA.
She could be a 36-year-old identifying like a 15-year-old middle schooler.
There's no real... That's just life. There's no way to avoid this.
Suck it up. Toughen up. Get over it. Like, you're 36, lady. You're
a grown-ass woman.
You got bullied in high school. You know how to deal with crap. Stuff happens, dude. Homeboy was not the guy you thought he was. 5 years, and you realize he's not the man.
4 years living together.
Yeah, it could have been worse. He's probably an axe murderer, and you better be thankful that he broke up with you because he's getting ready to go on a killing spree, and now you're going to be left off the list because y'all aren't dating anymore.
My biggest concern is the dog. They walk together. Who's getting custody? They're not legally married, so can they fight for that in a court of law?
Well, she said we walked our dog. Oh, one dog, yeah.
Yeah. That's the big concern.
The neighbor probably gets it.
Is the health and welfare of the dog.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah. Was she really... She claims she was blindsided, but then she said he's been distant lately.
I thought
they're not blindsided.
I read that as he's been distant after they broke up.
Well, maybe you should stop calling him. He broke up with you.
Since the breakup, Jeff has not talked to me at all.
For it to be the right person.
Of course Jeff don't talk to you no more, lady.
Both parties have to be in agreement if you think this is the one, right? Because
correct.
The other person has to think this is the one too.
Yeah, or it's kidnapping.
So this guy's like sitting there going, 5 years. I don't think she's the one.
How did it take you 5 years to figure that out, homie?
Well, he's not that bright, dude.
All right, lady, you're dating an idiot. You're dating
He did you a favor.
He's either an axe murderer, and if he's not an axe murderer, he's definitely 100% idiot. So
he did you a favor.
He did you a favor. This is like you winning the lottery. You just don't know it yet.
He probably moved to Florida.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to be in one of your Florida guys in the next few weeks.
He's trying to attack an alligator as we speak.
Yeah, on meth.
See if this alligator will bite my wiener. Nope, he didn't.
And if he's a police officer, he might be stealing an ATV at Daytona. He's
definitely an off-duty police officer on meth in Alabama now. And an axe murderer.
Look, she's going to feel worse about herself when he started feeling distant. He was cheating on you.
Yeah.
Come on.
He done moved on. He gone.
Stop calling him because you're feeding his ego. Stop sending him emails.
And move on.
Stop putting on Facebook how your heart's been torn out of your chest.
God, I hate people that do that on Facebook. Like, I don't care.
Do you like the little weird messages No. You're like, I wonder who this is to.
I've unfollowed so many people on Facebook. It's not even funny. Like, if you have to post on Facebook why you're mad about something somebody else done, or what you have for lunch, or what you're doing for dinner, I don't want to know, nor do I care. So
I've started to unfollow people that think their mission as a Christian is to post stupid things on Facebook.
The only thing I want to see on Facebook are memes. So
I just watch the reels, but you can do that on Instagram. You don't need Facebook.
Yeah, I do that on Instagram or YouTube.
I watch Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. But I didn't notice that the music was gone.
That's because you're not making TikToks. If you were making a TikTok, you would have noticed.
We need to make TikToks, Brad.
No.
Yeah, we're gonna start.
Well, you should start making them.
I'm going to.
All right, there we go. Jamie's going to run the
TikTok department
for Race Car Spelled Backwards and Loose Cannons 44. So make sure to check us out on TikTok. Anything done there will be ran by Jamie. Just
got a busy week. Probably take 2 weeks for me to get it going.
He's 50 plus. It might take 3.
No, I'll get my kid to do it. He's 20.
All right, that's all I got this week. You got anything else, Jamie?
No, not at all. I'm blindsided at Christmas, Brad.
Thanks to everyone for listening and watching the show. Please share this show on social media and share it with your friends. You can follow us on X. We're at Car Backwards. I'm at Del_406. And he's at James_Farrow3.
Oh, yeah, that's where I'm at.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out our other videos. Check us out on Spotify and rate us. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. We're also now available on YouTube Music, so make sure you check us out there as well. Yeah. Check out our other show, Race Car Spelled Backwards.
Free with an Amazon Prime subscription?
No.
Oh.
It's got something to do with YouTube, though. It's YouTube Music.
Okay.
Not Amazon anything.
Okay.
Send us an email. We're loosecannons44@gmail.com. Otherwise, Loose Cannons 44 is a RCB media production, and that's all we got for you this week. Guys, we'll see y'all next week. Everybody have a great week. Bye. You've just listened to Loose Cannons 44, a RCB media production. Thank you.